Part 2. Unable to resist, she reached out and touched the doll's hand. In that moment, a cold breeze swept through the room, causing the door to creak shut behind her, locking her in. Panic surged through Svetlana, and she tugged at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. It was then she heard a faint whisper, almost indecipherable, urging her to look into the mirror. Hesitant but entranced, she turned her gaze to the reflective surface. What she saw wasn't her own reflection but a dark, swirling void that began to resolve into the image of her friends, standing in the main hall below. They appeared frantic, calling her name, but their voices were distorted and echoed as if coming from distant realms. She realized, with dawning horror, that the doll was somehow a conduit, perhaps a portal to another world. Meanwhile, in the main hall, Dmitri and Lena were tearing through the house, desperately searching for Svetlana. They had counted to 100 multiple times, calling for her, but the silence that followed her absence was suffocating. Just when they were about to give up hope, they discovered a hidden staircase leading to the basement. The air grew colder as they descended, and a sense of foreboding gripped them. In the basement, they found walls lined with strange symbols and remnants of rituals long abandoned. A flickering candle illuminated an altar, where they reluctantly noted a series of faded photographs of past occupants, each marked with an ominous X. It dawned on them that the mansion had a dark history of those who had vanished within its walls, leaving only whispers in the night. Back in the room with the doll, Svetlana felt a sudden surge of anger and fear. The swirling darkness in the mirror began to pulsate, beckoning her to step closer. Just as she was about to reach out again, a voice louder than the previous whispers erupted, "Release me." The doll's glassy eyes now seemed to glisten with malevolence, and Svetlana felt an overwhelming urge to obey. At that moment, the floorboards creaked loudly behind her, and she turned to see her friends standing at the door, looking wildly for her. "Svetlana! Get away from it!" Dmitri shouted, breaking through the fog of fear surrounding her. The urgency in his voice jolted her back to reality. Realizing the doll was the source of the house's power and danger, she slipped into instinctive survival mode, backing away. Before she could make it to the door, however, the doll's gaze took on a life of its own, and with a sudden movement, it lunged from the corner. In an instant, it possessed Svetlana's body, causing her to convulse. Her friends rushed forward, prepared to help, but immediately found themselves pulled into a psychic chaos, a battle for her soul being waged before their eyes. Pavel, having finally found his way back after being inexplicably drawn to the basement, screamed, "We have to break the curse. We need to find the pendant. It's hidden somewhere in this house." The words struck a chord in Lena's mind as she remembered the old journal they had stumbled upon earlier, filled with notes and sketches relating to the mansion's history. In a frenzy, she recalled a peculiar illustration, a pendant that matched a symbol on the altar they had discovered. As Svetlana arrived on the floor, Dmitri and Pavel rushed from the room, racing back to the basement. In a half-lit frenzy, they rifled through old boxes and debris. Finally, after a heart-stopping moment, Pavel's hands clasped around the cold metal of the pendant, its surface engraved with the same symbol they had seen in the photographs. They dashed back upstairs, breathless and filled with desperation. Just as Svetlana's body ceased its struggle, her eyes glazing over as if the doll's malevolent spirit was about to take hold completely, Lena held the pendant above her head, chanting words from the journal that spoke of liberation and protection. A blinding light erupted from the pendant, illuminating the room and forcing the dark essence from Svetlana. The doll shrieked, its form contorting into itself as it fought against the light, but ultimately, the pendant proved too powerful. In a moment that felt like an eternity, the room shook, and a burst of energy washed over them. As the doll disintegrated into dust, Svetlana collapsed to the floor, gasping for air. The oppressive atmosphere of the mansion lifted, replaced by an overwhelming sense of calm. Dmitri and Pavel rushed to her side, relief washing over them when her eyes sparkled with recognition and warmth. They had escaped the mansion's curse, but as they left, a chilling reminder awaited them at the front of the house, a single, tattered doll lying at the threshold, its eyes still glistening with an intensity that hinted it had simply been waiting for someone new to claim it. As they drove away, Hearts racing but smiles adorning their faces, they couldn't shake the feeling that the house was still alive, and its stories were far from over. A lingering question hung in the air: had they truly escaped, or was the adventure just beginning?